Hello there. I hope you are doing good. Welcome to another video. Let's solve the next question in the playlist, which is we have to create a toggle function. A toggle function that accepts a list of arguments and toggle each of them when invoked in a cycle. If you see in the example, the toggle function can accept any number of arguments and it will return another function. When the return function is invoked, it will toggle through the list of the arguments that the parent function has accepted. So let's copy this and let's paste it over here, and we'll try to implement the toggle function. Let me comment this out and then we'll come back to this and see if it is working fine or not. So reading the problem statement and following the sample test case, we are going to create this toggle function. This toggle function can accept any number of arguments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a rest operator and I'm going to collect the arguments as an array. From this, I'm going to return a function. Now this function is anonymous fat arrow function. You can create any types of function and you can return it. Here, I'm going to use a pointer to track at which index I am currently. So I am using this tracker with -1 as the initial value because the array indexes start with 0. So we are going to use this, and here I'm going to add a check if plus plus. So I'm going to use the pre-increment operator if the plus plus current is greater than or equal to args.length, which means if we have reached to the last index of the array, we are going to set the current as 0, or we are going to reset it. And then at the end, we are going to print args and current. So this is how we can implement the toggle function. We are returning a function. In the return function, we have added a check to see where we are at currently with the pointer. If the pointer is exceeding the number of elements in the array, then we are going to reset the pointer to 0, and here we are printing the value. Let's start with the first sample example. Let me uncomment this, and if I run the code, we should get hello hello printed twice. So we are getting hello and hello printed twice. That is because we had started with -1. This has converted it to 0. We had checked if we are increasing the length. In the first call it is not, so we have went to the console log and we are printing it. In the second call it was exceeding, so it has reset to 0, and then we are printing it again. So this is working perfectly fine. Let's uncomment the second sample example and see if this one is working fine. So let me run this. We should get on, off, on. So we got on, off, and on. Let's add another value to this, neutral. So we should get on, off, neutral, and then on the fourth invocation we should get on. So let me print this again and see this is working fine. We started with on, off, neutral, and on. Another way to implement the logic is we can have the length of the arguments.length, and here we can add a check, so we don't need the condition. Rather, we'll use the mod operator, and what we'll do is we'll say we do current plus 1 and then we mod that with the length or the number of items in the number of arguments. So what this will do is this will increment the value, it will mod with the length, and it will store the modded value, and then using that we can get the element. So if I run this, this should again work fine. We started with on, off, neutral, and on. And if I run the first example again, we should see the hello hello twice. So if I run this, we are getting hello and hello. So how this is working is, basically we got the current, we started with -1, we added 1 to it, we got 0, 0 mod arguments length which is 1, so we got 0 as a value, and we stored that in current, and the first argument has printed args of 0 which is hello, the first element in the args. Now our value is 0, we came back, this function is invoked again, so 0 plus 1 becomes 1, 1 mod 1, again it's 0, so we have 0 in the current variable, and then this again returns the 0 index value, and it goes so on and on. This is for the first one. For the second example, it goes the similar way. We start with -1, we get 0 as first value, then we get 1 because the length increases, so we have 3 elements here, so we get 1, then we get 2, when the value becomes 3, 3 mod 3, again it gives 0, so we start from the beginning. So this works in the similar way, but it is more cleaner. We don't have any conditional check over here. You can implement as per your feasibility and comfort, however you find it, but this is how you can implement the toggle function. I'll come back with the third problem. Stay tuned.